Welcome to the CAT Quick Training on the Product Status Report. The Product Status Report can be found under the Information menu or by clicking the button on your toolbar. Once the screen loads, you will see that the Product Status Report is a comprehensive report of all electronic parameters that can be found on the machine itself. It's broken up by ECM, and we'll cover kind of this section in a little bit, but you'll see it has various pieces of information for each ECM that you can choose to include or exclude from your report. You have the option to name your report whatever you would like to. So if you're doing this for a specific customer or a specific job, you can put that information in there. There are comments, so you can add these in there. If you want to provide this report to a customer, you can maybe put a high-level overview of what you did on this or why you pulled the status report, things like that. And it's also a very good thing to pull before you flash an ECM or change out any kind of component like that, because what it does is it saves all of these values in a report so that if something happens during that flash and you lose all your parameters, you at least have them backed up in a report here where you can go reprogram that ECM with the values. So it's a very important piece of backup. I know a lot of folks have their technicians, as soon as they get to the machine, pull a product stats report, just first thing. That way they get in the habit of doing it. But once you come down to the bottom section here, you'll see it's broken up by ECM. So you have the ability to either clear all, select all. You'll see by default that we have the histograms unchecked. The reason for this is that the histograms, depending on how old your ECM and how many histograms and how much data is in them, could cause this report to take a very, very long time to generate. So it comes in unchecked by default because you don't always need that histogram data. But what happens is if you have certain things unchecked and go to create your report, CAT will give you a message here warning you that, hey, these things are not checked. Do you want to go back and make sure you include them? Or are you okay with them not being included in this report? So we can go back and add those back in if we want to. Again, if there's an ECM that you don't want to see completely, you can just uncheck that entire ECM, and you'll see it will remove those, and then you can either add that one back in by scrolling up, or you can pick certain pieces from there and add that into your report. Just because the histograms are unchecked by default, you do have the option under your preferences to create your own default settings. So if you know that you always want histogram data, you can go into your preferences and set that, and then it will always come in checked as it is on mine here. And even though you have it checked, if you want to exclude it from a report, just click it. And same thing where if you have it unchecked in your defaults, but for a specific report you decide you want that information, you can always add it on the fly when you're creating the report. Similarly, we have the histogram view options. So if you are including histograms in your product status report, you have the option to display those as a percentage or raw data. And again, you can set this preference on which one you want most of the time, but you always have the option to change it when you're creating the report. So once you get everything set up the way you'd like to, go ahead and click the Create Report, and you'll see that it's going to load all this data from the ECM. And this report will take a little while to generate because we are including everything from all ECMs. One thing that's important to know about this is once this report is done generating and pulls up on the screen, you've actually already saved a copy of that report on your laptop. So as soon as CAT pulls open that report, if you went and looked in your product status report folder in your Windows Explorer window, you would see that a copy has already been saved. But as you watch it, it'll cycle through the various things that you have checked there and start pulling that information into the report. Okay, so once the report pulls up, you'll see at the very top, this is where some of your basic information is. This is where we've set our comments, and then you can start scrolling down through the various ECMs and seeing it's broken up in heading, just like the check boxes. So go through, see your diagnostics, see any configurations, scroll through the ECMs. There's also some navigational shortcuts. So if you want to look at the engine information right away, just click on the engine heading. It'll drop you right down to that section, and you can scroll through and see all that stuff. And here's your histograms. But then if you want to go back up, just navigate to the top of your heading, click top, and it'll take you right back up to the top, and you can go to another ECM. So as I mentioned, that now that the report is open, you do have a copy already saved on your PC, but it's an XML copy. So if you would like to send this report to someone, provide it to someone back in your office who may or may not have CAT-ET installed, you can always save a copy as a PDF, and you'll see that it comes in the first part with the default name that we gave it on the first screen, and you can save that, and then you can email that report pretty much to anybody that you need to, as a PDF is a pretty standard format, and they should be able to view that information then.